Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for it's another massive game at Anfield. West Ham are coming to Anfield tomorrow evening. Will the Hammers burst Liverpool's Manchester City bubble? Anyway, we're all absolutely buzzing off the results against City, but the most important factor is Liverpool take that momentum into West Ham and the next weeks to come as well, and finish quite well before obviously the World Cup is on the horizon. But yeah, I'm joined by a very special guest and good friend of mine. Anyway, he's been on the channel before. It's me, James from E20 Zone TV, to give you the West Ham perspective. How you doing, mate?
All good, mate. All good.
Good, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. If you make sure you do head over to obviously E20 Zone TV as well. The link to James's channel links are in the description, so please do head over, subscribe. He's a top lad as well. I'm good friends on the channel as well. So please do head over. Me and James did do a video for about 45, 50 minutes, half an hour ago. So please do head over, check it out, drop it a like anyway. Most importantly, just get involved with James's content throughout the season as well, top lads. For James, it's going to be a big game for both sides anyway. Firstly, we'll go into obviously West Ham's start to the season, mate. Your thoughts? How is it been? It's been quite disappointing, would you say, from both teams? Obviously, Liverpool, but mainly about West Ham. It's obviously the expectations of both Liverpool and West Ham going into this season were obviously Liverpool hoping to win the league, and obviously West Ham riding high off that European adventure you had last season as well. So, yeah, not happy, but how have you thought about the start of this Premier League campaign, mate?
Inconsistent for me. For West Ham is the word that sort of springs to mind. Start of the season, we had Manchester City, first game of the season. Now, for me, that was the perfect game to get us going. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to beat Manchester City, but it was a good eye-opener to what was going to come sort of thing and get that sort of game out of the way. After that, we haven't really picked up and got going. And the international break come at a really perfect time for West Ham. After the international break, West Ham have gone on this run of beating Wolves, beating Fulham, winning their Europa Conference League games, and doing pretty well. And we're doing pretty well now, but we haven't done pretty well at the start of the season. Moyes has been a bit up and down, in my opinion, and in a lot of West Ham fans' opinion. They're looking at him and they're seeing his stubbornness and the way he's approaching things, and it's very, very frustrating to some West Ham fans.
Why do you think that is, mate? Can you put a finger on it?
I think what it is, West Ham bought their players in late. Scamacca, Paqueta, to name them two, who are two very, very good players for West Ham. And how we got both of them to the club is unreal. But it's amazing for us as West Ham fans. But I just think a lot of things that he's done, he's done things very, very slow. Like, I think the international break, the Wolves game was a massive game on both sides of the fence because the Wolves manager ended up getting sacked in the result of that defeat. If West Ham would have lost that game, I think Moyes would have gone or been very, very close to going. And he's managed to turn it around, which is good. Don't get me wrong. And we're in a position where we're looking okay, but the start of the season wasn't good, in my opinion.
Yeah. Is it going to be? Is it similar with Liverpool, mate? In terms of the start, you don't want to be blaming injuries on poor performances. Is he? We'll probably speak about in terms of how I foresee and in general your thoughts on how West Ham will approach the game, mate. But is it a bit of naivety on the heart of obviously David Moyes in terms of him not wanting to change? Or obviously, as you've already alluded to, we'll speak about the two main players that West Ham have brought in the summer. Would you like to see a bit more expression played in your football? Because most importantly, you've got quality players that can play football.
I think now he's done that, Moyes. Like, since the international break, he has brought in Scamacca, who's a breath of fresh air. Like, for me, he's a player that we've always been crying out for. I've known you over 2 years now, and I've always been saying we West Ham need a proper centre forward, and I think we've got a proper centre forward in Gianluca Scamacca. I think the man oozes class and what he does. He holds the ball up well. He strikes the ball like an hammer. He's a top player, and how we've got him to the club. He's so good, so good. When I look at the other side of it, and I look at like Paqueta helps Skamaka in a way that sort of. Paqueta's a very, very good player, and £51 million West Ham paid for him, and to bring him into the club, Brazilian international, who is playing regularly in the Brazilian national side 11, is excellent. I think with Paqueta, it's taken a bit more time for him to get to acclimatise with the Premier League, and certain things like I don't think he's sort of got the grasp of how rough and ready the league is. Like he gets fouled and he doesn't get the fouls that he would get in Italy or France where he's been before. So them two players have been very, very key to West Ham. And ever since the international break, now the international break, as I say, did come at a perfect time for West Ham. I think if West Ham, there was no international break and we'd have played the Newcastle game when it got cancelled because of the Queen's passing, I think Moyes would have been massively in trouble, mate. Like, and a lot of the fan base are very hit and miss with Moyes. Some of the fan base are like, you've got to give him time. Look what he's done over the last 2 years. Other fans are looking at it and thinking, he's done so well for us, but as he took us to the ceiling, is this how far he's going to take us as West Ham in their best moment, so to speak?
Yeah, and I was also speaking to you. Please do head over obviously to James's channel. It was a great video we done before, but as we were speaking on that, mate, in terms of the expectation levels going into this season, mate, what were they for you? Obviously, I've seen from an outside point of view, and all those Reds have looked at West Ham and they've been very close to top four, only 2-3 points off. It was last season we've seen before, and anyway, very close. And as we spoke about before, mate, it's what were your expectations going into this season? Were you hoping to get European football again? And as you said, a lot of money has been spent on recruitments, as the two players we've mentioned. And the fact that West Ham now are in a position where obviously recruiting top talent, and it's not a case of players not wanting to come to your football club, because they very much are. It's very attractive playing down south as well, the capital, and most importantly, playing for West Ham, a historic Premier League side in England as well. So what were you hoping for off the back of this? Off the back of last season, really for
me, if there's two sides of this, you spend £170 million, it's a lot of money, and they're going to want to return on that sort of money. If you was to say to any West Ham fan right now, you're going to win the conference, that you finish 11th, I think every West Ham fan would take that. Every West Ham fan would probably take that. The problem is you're putting all your eggs in one basket in trying to win a European competition where a bit of luck, a bit of bad luck, it could all go wrong. Now, for me, my expectation at the start of the season was to aim for top six. Like West Ham have been 6th and 7th over the last 2 years. We've signed Skamaka, we've signed Paqueta, we've signed Timo Kehrer, German international. We've signed Aguerd, who's a Moroccan international. We've signed proper international players, and it just didn't kick off the way it should have done. Like certain games this year, West Ham have been slightly unlucky, and then some games we've just looked poor, but we've got away with it. Like the Aston Villa away game, I remember that clear. I done a show on it, and we wasn't good, and we managed to nick the result at Villa Park. What I expect now is a top 10 finish from West Ham, like consistently. I think we ain't going to finish in the top 6 or top 4 because we just haven't got the manpower or the resources at present. And there's teams like yourselves and other clubs who are bigger and stronger than West Ham. I think 6 can be done, but it's one position, and then you've got teams like Newcastle in there who have got the firepower now, and other teams like that. But I will say one thing: if West Ham was to finish in the top 10 or top 8 consistently, I'd be happy with that. To a certain, because there will come a time when you'd have to go up another level. I think West Ham are on that level at the minute, but at the start of the season we weren't good. We wasn't good, and we've only recently turned it around. Southampton the other day, you had 24 shots on goal. We only got 4 on target. If we can start putting our chances away, then we will beat teams.
Absolutely spot on, mate. And I'll ask you your thoughts, really, in little second, mate, in terms of from an outside point of view. It's always interesting to get an opposition fan's views on really Liverpool in terms of how do you foresee Liverpool this season, mate. Just get to chat as well. Absolute legends. Thank you to every single one of you. Absolute legends. So shout out Mark as well, Dave, I'm not too far off that, mate. As I said, it'll be a good Kimbo present. As I said, thank you to every single one of you for all the bloody support, not just on this season, but over the last couple of years as well. Really do appreciate it. Never anticipated anyone subscribing, watching me do my bloody videos. But I really do appreciate it. Big up the 1892 Reds podcast as well. Subscribe to those lads. Content as always. Mick Moran, absolute legend, mate, doing great content as always. Make sure you head over to Mick's channel in Marco, one of the mods, can you please drop Mick's channel link in the description as well? So really would appreciate it. Keep it up, mate, as well. And just saying hello, having a gab. Mark, yes, we'll quickly touch on that. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp, he's got until a couple of days really to get back to the FA. And we've seen it with completely forgot the manager. There was a manager a couple of weeks ago that was on the touchline. I think it was Tommy Tuchel, I think, or was it Conte, one of them in the North London derby anyway. And he played a game and then he was suspended the following day. So I think we will see Jurgen Klopp in the ground, obviously on the touchline. Because obviously we got obviously the game before is a massive one as well. But one rule for one. It's the thing, Henry, though. He was worth it, though. It was worth it, though, for him to just have a go with Pep anyway. Speaking to James before, you want to see that passion on the touchline, even from Moyes as well, Jurgen, all of them. I hate watching a manager sat there on his notepad and all that. I'm not really getting into the game. And Jurgen Klopp, we all know he was wrong doing that anyway, and he openly said it in his interview. He said he was wrong what he'd done, but emotions, even in Sunday League, it's why we love football at every level, really, in terms of that. But even Scouser, we are truly even if we've truly turned the corner on our back, we win this. However, Jota and a possible touchline ban for Jurgen Klopp, it could go all wrong as well. 100%. We need to kick on. It's not going to be an easy game. We're some 12 at 2 points off us as well. It's the thing, Mark. I was speaking to James, and I get James's thoughts now on Liverpool, most importantly. How, from an outside point of view, mate, have you gauged Liverpool this season? What do you think is like the determining factor to why Liverpool? Obviously, we spoke about injuries, really, but the one thing really in terms of Liverpool frustrating from an outside point of view, mate?
Stop and start from Liverpool, in my opinion. That's what it's been. I think the Darwin Núñez signing was a good signing. I think you've nabbed a very, very good player there. Then he goes and gets sent off against Palace, which sort of halts everything. Do you know what I mean? And not only does he get sent off against Palace, the next game I think you had after that was Manchester United, which would have been perfect for him to go in there and play that sort of derby. I think the midfield for you lads is ageing. I would say that. I think you need a bit of youth in there. A bit of youth, a bit of speed, like things like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Liverpool have always got good attackers, and they will score goals wherever they go. I think the defence, I think Trent's had a lot of grief, in certain things. I think defending wise, he's not very good. Going forward and crossing balls and assisting goals, I think he's excellent. But defensively, I just don't think that position for him is for him. I think if you have Trent in midfield, or around that sort of midfield part, I think he's excellent. There's just little issues at Liverpool at the minute, and that's why they haven't got going. I think Manchester City have started off like a train, and that's sort of Liverpool always trying to keep up with Man City, or do you know what I mean, to a level, because they're both powerhouse teams. And in one way, when Liverpool do get going, they are a force. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just this season. The Arsenal game, you're unlucky there. You lose the game, but it could easily have been a draw. Even though it's, for me, that's not a penalty. The Manchester United game was the one that shocked me how bad Liverpool were, because I thought Manchester United literally outrun you, that we discussed on my channel. Yeah. And Manchester United don't outrun no one, and they sort of done Liverpool over at Old Trafford. And I just think the way Manchester United had been playing, Liverpool turning up there, it was the perfect game for Manchester United to play Liverpool, to get them going again, sort of thing. So I just think it's just been inconsistent with Liverpool this season. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Spot on, mate. And big up chat as well. You're watching. Make sure you do drop a like on the video as well. Massively does help out the channel. Absolute legends. But we do try and play from the back by Trent and Robson. 100% there, Mark. As I spoke to James on his channel, it's Liverpool's philosophy of play, really. And as we said, we spoke about yesterday in the starting 11 prediction. I foresee Milner starting right back, and I spoke to James. You look for that for a point of weakness down our right hand side. A lot of teams have isolated Liverpool this season, and over the last couple of seasons anyway. But James, in terms of David Moyes' set up for tomorrow, how do you anticipate, obviously, the Hammers to approach this game come tomorrow night, mate?
I think Moyes is going to set up defensively, if I'm honest, mate. I don't like to say that, but I think he will do. I think the personnel at present with Moyes, he hasn't got any centre arms, and we need Zuma back as soon as possible. I think Dawson is out, so Dawson won't be back there. But if we can get Zuma back and play a back four, we might have half a chance of doing something. I think if we play a back five, we are allowing Liverpool just to come onto us, literally just come onto us, and it's going to be a matter of time before Liverpool do break through, because our five at the back isn't a natural five at the back. They're left back and right backs just being moulded into that position. And I just think defensively, West Ham are at a bit of a crisis injury-wise. And it's a shame, really, because we might have started off a bit better if we didn't have that problem. But I think Moyes is going to turn up. I think he's going to try and see this out for 60 minutes and then try the last 30 minutes to see if he can do something. Do you know what I mean? If West Ham are in the game after 60 minutes, I'll be happy, because I know that West Ham can do something in the last sort of 30. Like, you can bring Antonio on, you can change it around. And one thing we have got this year that we haven't had for a long, long time is depth, like in our sort of attacking aspect. Whereas last year we used to rely on Antonio all the time. You haven't really got to do that now. Like, we can bring Antonio on for 15, 20 minutes and he can cause mayhem that way. So I'm expecting Moyes to sort of set up 3-4-3 or 5-3-2, either one of them systems for me.
Yeah. Any injury concerns for West Ham coming into this game?
Not really. Not like, apart from the defensive side of things. I think everyone is fully fit, round to go. Skamaka is fully fit. Nothing really other than Dawson and Zuma. If we, as I say, if we can get either one of them back, it's going to benefit us, really.
Yeah. Go your starting 11, mate, that you'd hope David Moyes does go with, mate, or personally you'd like to see go head-to-head with Liverpool, mate. As I said, spoke to you on your video, mate. Please do head over to, obviously, the E20 Zone TV. It was a good chat, and I spoke about, not hopefully, but the teams that have come to Anfield, like the Brightons and obviously certain other teams this season and over the seasons, really, that players... It's difficult. Not every team has got the resources and teams, but West Ham have most definitely got the quality on the ball, really, to play expansive football, get at Liverpool in the right areas. But who would you go with tomorrow, mate?
4-2-3-1 for me. I think West Ham, or 4-3-3. I think 4-3-3 would be the better system, because I think if Liverpool's midfield, I think, is vulnerable at present. I will say that, and a lot of their big hitters are not there. Fabianski in goal. I think right back, it will have to be Kufal if we play a back four. Kufal, Zuma, Kera, Cresswell, that'd be the back four. Souček and Rice as the two holding sort of midfielders, box to box. Then the three across the attack line. Paqueta will be number 10. Bowen. For me, you've got a choice of either Syed Benrahma or Mikel Antonio. Now, for me, I would put Mikel Antonio on that left and let him run at James Milner. Now, if Milner plays, then for me, that's where I would go with that. I think Antonio could do a very, very good job there. And as an ex-winger, that's what he does by trade, he could give James Milner a lot of problems. And up front, Gianluca Scamacca for me, 100%.
Possible, mate. That would be a good battle. Milner, Antonio. Milner probably one of the fittest in terms, obviously, the tests and everything. He probably would run the socks off everyone in a bloody hard, like a 10 marathon or sort of. But yeah, he's spot on there. That would be some battle down that left if it was, mate. In terms of your score prediction, mate, before we do conclude as well, what do you hope? What's your head going and what's your heart going into this one, mate?
My heart is open for a draw, but Liverpool haven't lost a game. As I said to you on my channel, Liverpool haven't lost a game in 5.5 years with a crowd. Now, that's a long, long time. And I don't believe West Ham will go to Liverpool tomorrow and win. I will say that. I think whoever scores first in this game, I think if West Ham can score first, West Ham can get something out of the game. So I do think Liverpool will score in this game. I will say that. I'm going to say a draw with my heart, but my head is saying that Liverpool win 2-1 or 3-1. I think Liverpool, if they get going fast, then basically they could blow us out the water if we haven't got the right defence in place. Like I think if we go 5 at the back with a makeshift defence, Nunes, Salah, Firmino will run right, in my opinion. If we can go to a 4 and Zuma can get back, then I think we can get a draw out of this game. I think we're in a good moment at the minute, and if we can play the game for an hour and still be in it, I think we've got a chance of getting something out of the game, for sure.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And chat, get your score predictions as well. If you didn't watch obviously the game last night anyway, well, not the game, the bloody episode are done in terms of starting 11. Get your score predictions in there, chat, and just your general thoughts on West Ham. Really, I did enjoy, as I was saying to James on his video before. I did keep an eye on, because I got obviously James and a lot of West Ham mates as well, and it was good. It was good to watch it. It's amazing, mate. European football, innit? It's just your general thoughts, mate. I was tuning into a couple of your episodes as well, and was made up to see his pick up results along the way. Really, it's the closing point, really, mate, in terms of how enjoyable as a fan was that West Ham in
That's
Europe.
Brilliant, mate.
Beating all those teams.
In Europe, I will say that. Like one thing with us, we don't play in Europe. That's one thing West Ham don't do. The last 2 years we have done so. So it's been amazing. I think at the end of this, we're going to have to win something. I think this year's our best chance to win the conference. I think we're a strong side. We've got the depth. And as I said earlier, if West Ham could win the conference, I think every West Ham fan would be happy and wouldn't really worry where we land in the league as long as we don't go down. It's been a good journey, Jack, and I can understand and why people crave about the Champions League and about the Europa League and even the conference, to say the least, because I think the conference is starting to get up there as being a major thing. Like 7th in the league, especially in the Premier League, is hard going, because if you take the top 6, that 7th spot is anyone's. It's ours, Newcastle's, like Leeds, anyone who's around there could sort of get that position, even Brighton, like teams like that. So yeah, it's been a good journey. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been an up and down roller coaster, and last year was a bitter pill to go out in the semi-final. But as West Ham fans, we don't see this often, so we're appreciating it. But we would like to see a bit more of it. I'll say that.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And rightly so. You don't want to stop there. You want to keep on doing it, mate. And as I said, the resources that European football does generate, and you're spot on, mate, in terms, obviously, teams in 7th or Europa League conference, it's the experience, what it gives to your club, mate, and obviously the fans as well.
I think it's the profile, Jack, also.
Yeah, profile, yeah.
Because I don't think West Ham attract Scamacca and Paqueta to West Ham United Football Club without European football. Like, I don't think the sort of Europa League run last year gets them players to our club. Right, that's one thing I will say. Like, I think it highlights the club, and West Ham is a club on the up for once. Like, it's been a long road. Don't get me wrong. We've been in that ground for 6 years, and Upton Park was a home from home sort of thing. I loved Upton Park. Yeah, it was an amazing ground. But West Ham have gone to obviously Stratford, and we're slowly making the transition into being that sort of side that we want to be. Do you know what I mean? West Ham are not known for winning trophies. Like, we haven't won a trophy in 42 years. Now, for me, West Ham have to do something to sort of bridge that gap. If other teams can do it, West Ham needs to start getting to quarterfinals, semi-finals of competitions, and eventually, hopefully, it will come.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. Just quickly get to everyone's comments as well. Really do appreciate. Got any questions for James from a West Ham point of view as well? Get them in before we do shoot off. But we'll get to all your comments as well. I'm a bit concerned without Diaz and Jota becomes Nunes. We need Nunes to play left, which he looked awkward, or Carvalho. Will be interesting, Scouts, as we said last night, mate, in terms of the system-wise. Jürgen will probably tinker with a couple of players in and out, really. As we spoke about already on tonight's episode, down that right-hand side for Liverpool, will it be Milner or will it be Trent coming back in straight into? But for me, I'd like to see Milner. I don't want to be risking Trent back, especially if he's going to be getting called up with England anyway. I think as much as we don't want to see Trent or any of our players really go to the World Cup, I don't think any football fan really, because we know it's going to be absolutely utter carnage at players coming back from injury after January, and it's going to be horrible. We have 7 injuries so far. Yeah, it's the start, isn't it? Thank you very much for that, Mark, as well. That's James's channel, everyone. So please do head over, subscribe as well, and get involved in the post-match, regardless of the results anyway. Get involved in James' content, as always. We have the week right-hand side, 100%. We just need to do what we did with City and force them back, Mark, 100%. But it's the attitude. All stems from attitude in the crowd as well, and obviously most importantly on the pitch. Brian's gone with 4-0. Mark's gone with 3-1. Big up, Mark. Liverpool LFC losing tonight with Papa John's. Oh, the ladies, is it? Henry, not good. And both Scouts are going with 2-1. Big up, mate. And Henry's going with 2-1. Really helps attract the better players, no doubt. Obviously, agree with you there, Jay, in terms of that, Brian. But there's a massive pay gap between the top and lower clubs as well. Yeah, I was speaking to a Bournemouth fan this season. Sadly, we battered them 8-9-0 anyway. But in terms of the pay gap and the difference, really, the revenue. But as I said, London, very attractive in terms of players. Paqueta, Scamacca as well. It's always, regardless of even Chelsea, West Ham, Tottenham, all the clubs. But you doesn't want to play in the capital as well, especially if you're from down there as well. Do you think Moyes is coming to an end of his West Ham? Quickly, Jay, it's if result goes badly tomorrow night, I think we've already kind of touched on it, but you can just elaborate a bit more on that, mate. To Henry's comments, a great comments. If it does end badly or a certain result, or not just tonight, but I know, as he said, spoke to you, it's a free hit coming to big club, like the topper teams, and you beat us last season, 3-2. We played poor then, but just your thoughts on Henry's comment there, mate, if you can.
For me, personally, I'll only speak for myself. I can't speak for every West Ham fan. Moyes is very, very stubborn in his approach in certain aspects. And for me, he's got away with it over the last few weeks by beating a poor Wolves side and a Fulham side that he sort of done at a good moment. If West Ham lose tomorrow against Liverpool, nothing will change my opinion on that. It'll be the Bournemouth game and other games that are coming into play. I think Moyes has bided his time there, though, because I think before the international break, there was cries of Moyes out to a point, because they're looking at his tactics, they're looking at him playing Antonio regularly, and they've got Scamacca on the bench, and other players who should be playing are playing, and other players who are out of form are still playing, and etc. like that. So it has changed since the international break. I will say that, and he has stopped this stubborn approach. Like, his stubborn approach is lifted. Like, he has released Scamacca now, which the fans have been crying for, and Scamacca is playing every game for West Ham in the Premier League. So I think Moyes is doing okay to a point. But I personally don't think Moyes can take us any higher than he already has. I don't think he can sort of blast us into that top 6, top 4, or be the manager that can get the absolute best out of Scamacca, Paqueta, etc. I think he's done very, very well at West Ham. I won't disrespect him for that, but I think West Ham are at a bit of a crossroads at the minute, where I don't want us to go backwards, but then I do want us to sort of stay. Like, I want us to stay where we are, really. And if we can finish 6th, 7th, 8th, I'll be happy with that. But I think a lot of other teams are sort of brought in other managers and started to go up a bit, and West Ham have started just to slowly drop down a little bit. And it was only, we discussed it on my channel, it was only 2 years ago we was fighting the top 4. So I think he's doing okay for me at present.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, mate, as well. Every fan wants to see progress in terms of, yes, you can do well, but it's about how you kick on, mate, as you said. You're spot on, mate. Hopefully that answers, Henry. Thank you for your question as well. Great question. How you doing, Russ? Russ is happy. Bloody Arsenal winning. Won't last, Russ. I've told you. And I can't believe you said that. It was at the it was first jumps. What did you think quickly, mate, on did you think it was a foul in the build-up?
What's
In
that?
terms of Fabinho, the Liverpool City one, the
Um,
Fabinho tug. You can be as
nah,
yeah, you don't think it
nah.
was.
I
No, no.
think that one thing I will say about the Liverpool Man City game, it was an old school type of game. It was an old fashioned Premier League game. Like, go back to sort of people in your chat probably remember this into the 90s and your Roy Keanes, your Vieiras, and things like that. That was proper Premier League football. What we see on Sunday. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot on the line, because I think if Liverpool would have lost that game, I think their title aspirations would have evaporated. I think them beating Man City sort of brought them back into it to a point. Do you know what I'm saying? It also says that Man City ain't invincible like that everyone sort of thinks. So, nah, I think it was just an old school Premier League game, but in the modern day.
Henry, I'm not too sure if you can elaborate on that. I didn't watch. Do you know much on that, Henry? If you can elaborate on that, but or put another question in, Henry. Anyway, just trying to elaborate on that. We'll try and sneak that in anyway. But everyone just saying hello to everyone. Big up chat as well, most importantly. Great question by Mark. The final one, really. What position would you strengthen at West Ham, mate? If you
left back would be one. I think we've signed Emerson, who's a decent cover. I will say that. But I think if we can get a good left back, I'd be happy with that. Thomas Souček, we discussed it on my channel. I think West Ham have got a good player in Flynn Downs, who's come from Swansea and it's highly rated, and he's played in the European games and been brilliant for us. Really, really has been good. I think on the left-hand side, I think it's a bit of an issue attack-wise. I think you put Fornells in there, he doesn't give you anything going forward, but he works hard and he's an industrial midfielder, in my opinion. So left-hand side of, basically down the left, that's where West Ham need to sort themselves out, I think. And I think they will do it as time goes on. Left-hand side defender and left-hand side attacker. And I do think a good centre-half, because we have got Aguerd, we've got Zuma, Craig Dawson, for how much it's funny, really. He cost £2.2 million. He's been one of our top defenders.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was a great signing, that mate.
He was, I'll be honest, Jack, he's been one of our top players, mate, for the last 3 years. Ever since he's come to the club, he hasn't really done a lot to say he's been bad. He's had bad games, don't get me wrong, every player's bad games, but over his overall time at West Ham, I think he's been one of the best signings West Ham's made for a hell of a long time, and that goes up there with like the likes of Payet and other players who West Ham's brought in. But for the value of the man and what he brings, if someone said to me right now, who's West Ham's best defender, centre half, I would say Craig Dawson at present.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And that goes to a point now we were discussing in your episode, mate. You don't have to spend the big bucks. It's about recruitment in the right areas, and as you alluded to there, mate. But from Henry said, it was just to play wages. It's agents, so yeah, it's big up. You've Raj. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Really do appreciate it. Will Rice leave in January? I've loved Rice. I've speaking to Jay before, but it's a quick final one, mate, because I've kept you long enough. It's Declan Rice, as I was speaking to you, mate. I think he's, on your episode, I was saying he'd very much complement Liverpool. He's a player that I think would very much fit into Liverpool's midfield. He's going to cost whoever it is. As I said to you, I'm hoping it's either Liverpool or City, and he doesn't go to United or Chelsea and Arsenal, because I feel he'll just be wasted there. Just be another player, but I think if he did come to City or Liverpool, it'd be an integral cog in the system, really. Just your general thoughts on Rice, mate, in terms of how important he is for West Ham and potentially over the next 12 months. Do you think if he could be going if you don't get up in higher in the league season this season?
I can't stress enough how much every West Ham fan loves Declan Rice, mate. What he brings to this club is passion and commitment, and he fights for the badge. I will say one thing about Declan. He does love the club, and he does embrace with the fans, and he's with us, basically. He's one of us. Do I think he will leave in the summer? Yeah, I do. I do think he will go. I think the board will look to get him sold for a large fee and then invest the money, hopefully, back into the squad. Where he goes is a big question for me, because I agree with what you just said. If he comes to use or he went to Manchester City, I could accept that as a West Ham fan. You want to go on, you're going to win trophies, you want to go and play for the best managers in the world. You go to a Chelsea, it will be a bit sore for me, but I could get it because he's an ex-Chelsea academy player. Mason Mount's there. I can understand that. Goes to Manchester United, it just doesn't make no sense to me. Really doesn't. I don't see where he goes, what he's trying to achieve. Because Manchester United and even Arsenal to a point even though Arsenal are in a good moment at the minute, I don't think they are going to consistently challenge for top honours on all fronts. So for me, if I had Marwell, I would give Declan what he wants at the club and sign him down to a long-term deal. I don't think Declan wants to sign a new contract, because I think Declan wants to go and play at the highest level in the biggest games, in the biggest competitions. And listen, rightfully so. I think every West Ham fan would clap him out of the ground and say, you know what, mate, you've done us proud. You've grew up with us. We've given you the platform, and we're going to get a nice fee for you. Good luck to you, sort of thing. So when that day does come, Jack, it'll be a sad day for every West Ham fan. I think that's when West Ham might go back to being the West Ham of old to a point, just like mid-table type. But whatever happens and whatever fee we get for him, as long as we invest the money back into the side, I'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And there's a couple of funny questions there. I doubt you had to go with it. Right for Ox, I'll tell you what, I'd drop Ox off straight away at the doorstep. I don't think any West Ham would definitely take Ox. He's injured more times. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Our whole midfield, I was just saying to you, but it's madness how many time our players get injured. It'd be a good game if we don't get more injuries. 100% straight swap in January. It's going to cost a lot of money, and quite rightly so, because he's a tremendous player. Absolutely love him. Brian's there, swap. Just going. No chance of any Hammers are going Jones for Rice. Can say replacements as well. I don't want him at Liverpool. Way too expensive. I'd love him. 7 out of 10 player. But Brian, Gini Wijnaldum was a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 player performance every single week in, week out.
Jack, is it all right to comment on that? For me, when people say he's a 7 out of 10, I can understand it. I can, yeah. But what he brings to your side is something like, even for England, if you're watching for England, now take off the West Ham bias from me. Watching for England, like, he's everywhere. He controls the play, and when he plays, and I do believe if Gareth Southgate don't take him off against Italy, we win the Euros. Like, it's as simple as that. I really strongly believe that, and that's not me being West Ham biased. It's me looking at it with my England side of things. I think he's a top player, Declan, and I think he goes into any team and makes them better in midfield. Like, whatever midfield they've got, he makes it. I ain't gonna say he makes it 10 times better, but he makes it a lot better than they currently are. And 7 out of 10, Brian. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, no, I think it is you, Jay. You've been the fan. That's the thing, Brian. If you look into it, Christ, was it Algeria? Yeah. Tell you what, Algeria, Zidane, like the team Algeria could have had back in the day, or even currently anyway. The amount of good players, especially probably proper player, like world class player they've got at the minute is obviously Riyad Mahrez. But Riyad Mahrez had a bit of help from certain players that play for France anyway. He would have had a tremendous squad. Probably would have been potentially winning the World Cup with all them. But yeah, who wouldn't? But Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. So please do obviously shout out your channel and obviously what content you've got coming out this evening or tomorrow or this season, mate. Thank you very much.
Listen, I really do appreciate everyone who's been watching tonight with me and Jack. E20 Zone TV, I do afterthoughts, I do player ratings with all the lads. I've got some panel members who are just mad. I will say that about West Ham. And yeah, you do all sorts of content on there. Do you know what I'm saying? Talking about Premier League, and I've got some good content coming up for the World Cup also with betting aspects of things. So if you like a little bet, go over to E20 Zone TV, give me a subscribe. It goes a long way. Thank you.
You're very welcome, mate. As always welcome on the channel, mate. And as I said, big up Mark as well, but big up every single one is that is the 20 Zone TV. So head over. James will be doing a post-match reaction video anyway, I'm very much sure. World Cup 2050 is our... That's, yeah, we've been saying that for years. But James, thank you most importantly for coming on to this evening, mate. And everyone, thank you to every single one of you that has tuned in. The absolute bloody legends. And hopefully Liverpool can get the win over the line, but we'll find out. I will not be live tomorrow. I will be going to the game, so I might have a match day vlog kind of. I will be doing a post-match reaction video, but I'll probably release the vlog the day after the post-match anyway. So stay tuned on the channel for that. But as I said, safe travels to all the Hammers travelling up to obviously Anfield, and obviously best of luck, James, for this new season. And hopefully, best of luck for tomorrow, mate. But see you later, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your night. And as always, you never walk alone.